Charlie, thank you very much. Out at Barbara Mandrell's house tonight, they're having a party, a rather unusual party, because she's having a reunion of sorts of all the members of the Do-Rite band. The Do-Rite band was named after a tune she recorded several years ago called Do-Rite Woman, Do-Rite Man. So let's go to the Do-Rite party and say good evening to Barbara Mandrell. Hello, Barb.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm wonderful. I'm so glad you're here. You're the only one in this world that wasn't here, that I really wanted to be here. So we used the star catcher to get you here. Thank you for letting me visit with you and all your viewers.
Well, Barbara, tell me about this reunion. It's rather unusual, isn't it?
I really think so. At least it is for us, because my first actual Do-Rites were in 1970. And so we're coming on to 1990. That's 20 years. And so this room is full of former Do-Rites and current Do-Rites. We had somewhere in the low 40s, and that's not very many men in 20 years.
Were you able to find everybody?
Everybody except for, it was either 3 or 4. We couldn't get the addresses on 3 or 4.
How many are present tonight?
I didn't take a count, but I know that you'll be taking a look around, so it's a lot. And you know, can you see what if Rhonda can get a picture, I saved this shirt for tonight. It says, "It's okay, I'm with the band."
That's how you
I'm the girl.
That's how you
I'm the girl singer.
That's how you get through the backstage area.
That's right.
Barbara, was there ever any other name for the band considered?
Never. When I had the record Do-Rite Woman, Do-Rite Man, it just seemed right because my people, when they put on a show, they do it right. And I'm not trying to honk my horn, I'm honking theirs. They, in my opinion, and since they're not listening to me right now, they are the top performing band in terms of showmen. They give at least as much, if not more, than I do.
Who was in the original Do-Rite band?
I'm going to show you in just a minute. As a matter of fact, there's something else. You remember when you called me on the phone today, Ralph?
Yes.
And you've been in my home many times. And of course, we talked about that you and I are going to be together in Aspen for Christmas.
Right.
And you asked me to make the chili.
Yes.
Well, and I'm going to.
Yeah,
but
Barbara,
Barbara
makes super chili.
Thank you. I'm going to put my baby.
If you ever open a restaurant, I'll be there. By the way, who's your baby?
That's Tasha. She's 12 years old this last November. This is what you wanted me to show all of our friends watching Nashville Now. This is a log that I have in my home that has signatures on it by some very famous people, but people are just dear to my heart. They're not all famous, but some are, like Ralph Emery and Joy Emery, and Bob Hope, and Dolores writes with an arrow. That's his wife. And, of course, Sheena Easton and Walter Payton, Sweetness Walter Payton, my daddy and mother. Lots of neat people. And Chuck Norris, it goes on, and I'm very proud of that. I wanted to talk to you, if I may, and answer a question that you did earlier. Daddy, would you... Come on, Kent. You asked about the original Do-Rites, and I want you to see them.
Okay.
And Ralph, sweetie, they can't hear you, but I'll be your commentator.
All right.
Hello, Ralph. I'm one of the originals.
All
you
right.
might guess that.
That's Herbie, of course, Barbara's dad.
I'm the oh, is he talking? Is Ralph talking?
That's all right, Early.
Daddy's probably the longest Do-Rite, but I'm the longest youngest. Not that I'm the youngest, but I've been the longest.
Early.
And that's Early?
Yes.
She hasn't changed a bit.
No, she hasn't.
Not at all.
Ralph, this is Kent Morrison. He was from Texas when we got him, and he's back in Texas again. He was this that you're looking at. Louise was my first bass player, fiddle player, and backup singer. Daddy was rhythm guitar and backup singing and rapping with me, and Erlene was my drummer.
Original drummer, she paid me not to sing backup.
And
That was the smartest investment she ever made.
and Kent Morrison was our first guitarist. And
Happy holidays, everyone. Just like to wish everybody the merriest of Christmases.
Barbara, I'll tell you where I get a little confused. At one time...
Barbara?
Tell Herbie to hush. Barbara...
Ralph says hush for just a second.
At one time, there was a band, when I first met you, called the Mandrells.
The Mandrell family band, and that was Daddy's.
Yeah, that was.
And I worked.
Yeah, that was your
for
mother.
him.
Your mother and father. I think
I didn't pay her much.
Ken played drums.
Ken was the drummer. That's how I met him. Daddy hired Ken, and I fell in love. Anyway, it was Daddy's band, and Mother was the bass player. I was a steel player and played sax.
And Orlean and I were too young.
And anyway, that was Daddy's band, and that's the band that for 4 years of my life, thanks to Daddy hiring me for the Mandrell Family Band, we went over to the
I'd say
Orient, and
roughly about 22 different countries.
and I just treasure that so very, very much. But my dad and Louise and Orlean and Kent, all of us agree, when you asked me about the name, the Do-Rites, it was because, not because they're just such good people and they always do right, it's because when they're on stage, they just do it right. They do it right.
That's right.
All right, then why did you break up this band and
Be back now?
why did you break up this band and hire other musicians?
I broke up this band and hired other musicians because Rick Boyer, who was a Do-Rite, and Orlean fell in love, and they got married.
Well,
And so
well,
she's got
what happened?
Louise
and finally,
felt-
Barbara decided she needed musicians instead of personalities, and she hired musicians.
Yeah, that should have
But
been
she had 3 great personalities beside her, but she wanted musicians.
Well, and Kent was a great musician, but he quit me and left me.
Well, he had young kids.
Well, I did. I had the home fires were burning, and I had to go to the house and raise 2 kids. You know how that goes, and I haven't regretted it, although I have had a million beautiful memories here tonight, and it's been a beautiful way
For
to
us,
celebrate
too.
the holiday season for me.
For us too. And
Barbara,
Louise got married and left me.
Stop
Barbara,
talking about my husband.
And 2 of her husbands are here tonight.
You know, Ralph,
2 of her husbands are here tonight.
Ralph, this is probably the only reunion where a girl could have 2 of her former husbands in the same area. But they're both here. And,
One of them's not former.
And the funny part about it, they like each other.
Well,
they
both
know.
have good taste.
hey,
both have-
Barbara,
They both have good taste.
Yes.
Barbara, would you take Irby off now? He's been on long
Take
enough.
Daddy off. He's been off long. Oh, you've been on long enough, Dad.
Barbara, I wanted to ask you
Yes.
to describe the room that you're in right now.
Sure, I'd love to. Thank you, Ralph. My husband Ken and I worked with our architect for about a year designing this room, and this house.
Well, there goes Louise.
But this room is
It's very lovely, too.
what we call our great room because it's big and we think it's great to have it.
Here's Ken,
And
one
this,
of my son-in-laws.
So they brought Ken in. This
Hi.
is my husband Ken.
Hi,
And
Ken.
I'll tell him what you say. Ralph says hello.
Hi, Ralph.
And they're asking about the house. This is we call it a great room just because we think it's so great to finally have a big room where we can have lots of friends and have big gatherings. And that we are farmers.
It's a log
We're
house.
alfalfa farmers.
The whole thing is a
Actually,
log.
we called it a great room because we had Ralph here the first time, and it was great because he was here.
I see.
Ken is in the log home building business now, the Rustics of Lindbergh Lake Log Home. And this is one of them.
Thank
so
you.
yes.
Don't send me a bill, Ralph.
Okay, Barbara, where did the logs come from?
The logs came from Montana. All of the Rustics homes that he builds, the logs are from Montana. These are called larch pines. And this room that we're in is so tall, I don't know, the truss that you would see in the ceiling up here, each of those weighs something like 3.5 tons.
Wow.
And
Okay.
I love wood.
Barb, I've got to break this up, and you seem to be having a lot of fun out there. I'll see you Wednesday night in Jacksonville. Okay?
I look forward to it very much.
And thank you for allowing us to come to your party.
Thank you for letting me visit with all of the viewers tonight.
Okay, dear. Good night.
Bye-bye now.
Good night. That's Barbara Mandrell at her house with a party. And yes, Barbara, you're with the band. A party for the Do-Rites. They're having a reunion of 20 years in show business. We're going to take a break here. Is that right? We'll be right back.